Are you having difficulties making a decision? Are you overthinking the different steps and options that you have in the decision-making process? If that's the case, stay with us as we're going to cover the 3 key steps that you need to do in order to make the decision-making process feel like a piece of cake and make decisions like a pro. So stay with us and let's begin. Hello and welcome to our channel. On our channel, we bring you daily motivation, inspiration, and tools to become the best version of yourself by fulfilling your true potential. Today's focus is going to be on decision making. And yes, I know sometimes decision making can be quite difficult. But actually, there are only 3 different outcomes when it comes to decision making. The first one is you make the right decision. Good for you. You made the right decision. You took the right turn. You're on the right path. Perfect. Check mark. The second most optimal one is making the wrong decision. This actually is also not too bad because you took the wrong turn, you figure out that's not the street I want to go, this is not the path I want to take my business toward. You then just readjust and come back to the right decision and you will be on the right decision, on the right direction in no time. The worst option is making no decision. And this is where most of the people get stuck by having no traction, by over-analyzing, by over-complicating the decision progress. And as progress equals happiness, and no progress equals unhappiness, people who make no traction in their decisions are unhappy. On this YouTube channel, we want you to be happy, so that's why we're going to lay down 3 simple steps that are going to make the decision-making process simple as pie. And on top, we're going to bring you also 3 other pro tips that are going to make you look like a pro every time you make a decision. So let's start. The first step in making a decision is actually quite trivial. You need to define what decision you want to make. You need to decide what you want to wear today. You want to decide what kind of vacation you want to go. Can you afford a vacation? What kind of business you want to take your company to? All this starts by defining what kind of decision you want to make. Once you have done this, you can move to the second step. And the second step is trying to understand who is this decision going to affect. Who are your stakeholders? Are you dressing up for a jog? Are you dressing up to impress someone? Are you going on vacation by yourself, or are you going on a vacation with your spouse, friends, family, children, grandpa, grandma? Deciding and understanding who are you going to impact with your decision is very critical in making the right decision. Once you have done this, once you have created your stakeholder map, then you go to the third step, which is going to make basically the decision-making progress quite easy, by deciding how are your stakeholders going to be impacted by your decision. You have your stakeholder map, you know you're going to go on vacation with your spouse or with your friends or children or grandpa and grandma. Then you can start checking who and how are people going to be affected by the decision that you just made. And by doing so, you will understand, even before you have made the decision, if it was the right or the wrong one. Now let's go into the pro tips. If you want to make decisions and sound like a pro, you need to consider these 3 steps. So the first pro tip is consideration of time. You need to consider, not always, but in some decisions, you need to consider the impact of time. Is your decision going to be the right one only for today, for tomorrow, a month from now, a year from now? If you're in business, as an example, do you want to make short-term gains, or are you actually planning to make a long-term decision that is going to gradually and sustainably build your company into an empire that's going to last for many years to come? So, pro tip number 1, consider if time makes any impact in your decision making. Let's go to pro tip number 2. Pro tip number 2 is weighing risk to reward. What basically this means is trying to understand what's the worst case outcome of your decision and what is the best case outcome of your decision. I'll just take one simple example, the company Tesla. Well, Elon Musk started the company. He probably asked himself, okay, what is the risk to reward of starting this company? The worst case, what can happen with Tesla, we're just gonna go bankrupt. We're gonna fail. It's not gonna work. Well, probably no one's gonna die. It's something that many companies went through. They simply did not get traction and just stopped. That's the worst case that can happen. But what's the worst case? What's the best thing that can happen with Tesla? I think you know the answer. Tesla basically paved the way and changed the direction on the whole automotive industry in the world. So if you weigh these two risks, something that can happen and no one's get hurt, versus starting a company that's going to change the direction of our planet basically by providing sustainable electric vehicles, a reward strongly overweights the risk. So if you want to make decisions like a pro, consider weighing your risk to reward ratio. And the third pro tip, and I know this might sound simple, but this is very, very critical. Please start your decision-making process with a white piece of paper. And I mean really a piece of paper, because you need to write down what you're thinking, what your decisions. You need to write all these steps that we just discussed on a piece of paper. But your subconscious and conscious brain don't always work perfectly synchronized with each other. So you need to write things down to bring pieces of your information, of your subconscious, in the cognitive part of your brain so that you're truly able to compute and make the clear picture of the decision that you want to take. We truly believe that if you follow these 3 simple steps and 3 pro tips, each of the decisions in your life are going to be made as a piece of cake and you're going to sound like a pro. We hope we were able to bring value through this video. If we did, feel free to share this video to friends, family, or anyone who is struggling with the decision-making process. So thank you very much for your attention and see you on the next one. Bye bye.